Are you on a cut, but you just feel smaller? Want to know if you're losing muscle? Watch this.
Our first caller is Jordan from California.
Jordan, what's happening, man? How can we help you?
Hey guys, it's super cool to meet you. Big fan. Listened for like just about a year now.
Oh,
my buddies are going to be jealous. I got to meet Tiny Beard and the gang, so pretty neat.
Yeah, man.
But yeah, for real though, you guys have been great. Like I've only been working out for about a year though, but found you guys pretty early on, so it's been huge help. And I feel like I've kind of missed a lot of the ways you could go wrong when starting out. So big thank you to you guys.
Awesome.
Cool. Thanks, man.
Yep. I'll give you a little bit of background. So, like I said, I started working out. It'll almost be a year. Middle of February would be a year. When I started, I was a 165, and I'm 6'2", so pretty skinny. And then I did a bulk to 196, and then finished that because I was about as big as I wanted to be at that point. And then I was going to lean out, so I started to cut about 3 months ago, and I've lost. Right now I'm 184, and I've been losing about a pound a week, which I've heard is like kind of the benchmark or whatnot. But I don't feel like I've been any leaner. Like I'm just losing weight, but not getting any more lean. So I'm just wondering what I'm doing wrong.
This is such a classic. Do you remember we talked about that? We've talked about this before. I don't know if we've talked on the show or not as much, but it's such a mind fuck when you shift from, bulking to leaning out, and that first, even couple months, like
you just feel smaller.
You do. And let me explain what's going on, right? So you come on, you're on a high calorie diet right before this. So your glycogen levels your stores are filled out. So your muscle bellies are filled out. You got all these extra calories. That means your body's holding on to more water. You've got more carbohydrates in you. And so you're filled out. And then you make this transition like, okay, I'm going to go on this cut. And the first thing that really goes is all that glycogen and water. And so that gets pulled out. And what it actually makes you look like is it looks like you lost muscle size. And so it's a bit of this mind fuck of like, oh my God, I'm not, and you don't see your abs popping anymore. What you see is like your arms look smaller, your legs look smaller. And so you think, oh my God, this sucks. Like I go on this cut. And by the way, this is super common for lean guys who want to build muscle. They go on the bulk and they go on the cut. And it's the reason why a lot of them can't stick with the cut. And this was me for a decade plus, is I'd go on a cut for a minute, just like you're right now. And then I'd be like, fuck this. Yeah. Like I'm not getting any leaner. I'm just getting smaller. Tiny. I'd rather be a little fatter with more muscle. And so you go back the other direction. It's part of the process. And let me tell you, for me, it was one of the most difficult things. I had the discipline to stay consistent with the eating and the training. It was the psychological part of it would fuck with my insecurity of being the small guy. But trust the process. You just got to stick it. You got to stay the course. And then you'll start to see as the weeks go on, you will start to drop body fat. You will, and you will lean out, and you will go through a little period of feeling like the small guy again because you've got that in your head because you probably were a skinnier guy trying to build and build muscle. But it's very, very common what you're going through right now.
So I have a question. You gained about 30 pounds when you did your bulk originally. This was over the course of a year?
No, so that was. So like when I first started, I had no idea what I was doing. Like I just had a workout plan from a friend of a friend, and it was like just a normal bro split, right? So I went, did that for like 2 weeks, and I was like, I just had like a feeling I was doing something wrong. And then I just kind of like stumbled on you guys, and I was like, oh, I need to be eating more, and I need to be probably doing full body. So I got anabolic, but I didn't start actually eating on a bulk until like a month. So it's been probably like, I did a bulk for about 7 months, I would say.
Okay, so 30 pounds in 7 to 8 months.
It's incredible.
Any body fat testing during this period of time? Do you know how much lean body mass it is?
No, I wish I did, but I didn't even know about that before. Like I was total new, like never done anything before.
Okay, so that's a lot in a short period of time. So it's likely you gained muscle and body fat, unless you have like this really amazing muscle building genetics. I would guess out of that 30 pounds, it's probably half and half.
Yeah.
So, 15 muscle, 15 pounds of body fat. When you're trying to cut and you're trying to go down, it's important to do body fat testing because of the mind games it could play with you. One of the questions I have is during this cut, are you weaker, or if you are, how much weaker are you in the gym?
No, nothing has changed really.
Okay.
My squat has gone down like 10 pounds from normally. I'm in aesthetic right now, but I just finished. The last one I finished was symmetry.
Okay,
so that's a good sign.
Yeah, if your strength hasn't really gone down much,
especially coming from that much weight.
Yeah, and you lost 11 pounds. You're moving in the right direction. 1 pound a week. Strength is maintaining somewhat for the most part. I think you're doing all right.
I literally think this is a psychological thing.
Yeah, it is.
It's
you got to stick to the cut because for me, when I would do these big bulks and I would cut the first 3 to 4% body fat, I couldn't even tell. It just felt like I was getting smaller. Yeah. It wasn't until I got
weaker. That's the word.
Yeah, so it wasn't until I got to like 11% that I could be like, oh, I can see what's going on. Once I get to 10%, then I'd be motivated by the definition that I would see in the gym. But until I got there, it was like, I'm just going to wear sweaters and t-shirts because because the way I would feel would be like I'm wasting my time. And so I never really did an effective cut for a long time. I never really pushed it to see how lean I could get until I was much older.
That's what a lot of the body, like a lot of us that competed, this is actually part of the strategy. You might, if you know anybody that has, we'll go in all hoodied out like that. Yeah. And part of that is, at least for me, this was the psychology of that, is like, I don't even want to get distracted by the way I look, because I know my own insecurities of being a small guy. And if I'm looking in the mirror and I'm comparing myself this week in this cut to what I was looking like just say 4 weeks ago when I was in the bulk, I know I like the bigger, thicker version of me because I was the skinny guy who always wanted to be. But I know I need to lean out. So I would cover up in a hoodie and stay that way, and so I don't even look at myself while I'm training. I just focus on the training, focus on the diet, focus on the training. And then when like Sal's point, then you get to a point where you start to get really leaner than you've ever been. Like when you start to hit levels of leanness that you've never seen on yourself, then it's remotivating to peel down to the t-shirt again and see the vascularity.
People think you got bigger.
Yeah, and then that's the part that will trip you out. If you stay the course, stick with the process, get leaner than you've ever been in your life, and then watch the people come to you and go like, bro, you got huge. Oh my God, what did you do? It's a trip and you're going to go like, what? I was 196 and now I'm like 175. And you guys are saying I'm bigger. Like I'm not bigger, but you will look bigger because you've leaned out.
I mean, this has always been a deterrent for me to cut. And I remember you having to walk me through that process and talking about like being flat and then also being filled up and that whole thing, and I was like completely oblivious being from the performance end of things. So it's totally a psychological game.
Yeah, I think you're probably going to end up around 175 to 178 with a nice lean physique. That's probably where you're going to end up if I had to guess. Because you haven't tested your body fat, this is a guess. But I would put money on around 175, 178 with like, decent definition where you could see visible abs.
Okay, so I'm not too far off. Hopefully I'll be just a little bit longer.
Yeah,
that's what I was worried about, because I didn't know like if there was a point of when you've been in a cut for too long. Like if there's a spot when you should just say like, I'm doing something wrong, like my body shouldn't be in a cut for this long, or if that was just something I was making up.
If you're continuing to lean out and maintain strength for the most part, because it's actually very normal to lose strength. So don't even trip out if you lose a little bit of strength.
Yeah, that's from like less glycogen, less energy.
Yeah, so it's very common to lose some strength. So if you lose just a little bit of strength and you're continuing to lean out, I would push it until I'm all the way as lean as I want to get, right? So
if you start to feel really weak, tired, overtrained, achy, then you could do like a mini bulk, kind of rejuvenate yourself. Watch your intensity of your workouts.
Yeah, even like a week of just a surplus is enough to, and then go right back to the cut. So sometimes I'll do that. Like let's say you've been in a cut for a while, and even if you're just tired of eating that way and you miss a good workout of feeling filled, like throw in a week where you're like in a surplus of calories and you should shoot back and then go right back to the cut again. You can do that too. Yeah. But literally what you're describing to me, I can relate so much to, as far as it's a psychological game. And when I think back to my journey of competing, that was the hardest part about competing. Not my program design, not following the meal, was the mental game of being a guy who his whole life identified as the skinny kid who wanted to be big. I finally got kind of thick and big, and now here I am cutting it all away. It was a mind fuck. And so trust the process. You'll be very happy if you stick with it and don't let your mind play those games.
Yeah, the next 10 pounds you lose if you do it right is going to be this will be the fun 10 pounds in terms of what you look at, what you see in the mirror. That first 10 pounds, you just feel smaller.
Yeah.
The next 10, you're going to start to see the definition in the mirror, and it'll feel a little different.
Yeah, it'd be more motivating.
Awesome. Yeah, Adam, what you said, that's like exactly how I'm feeling right now. Like whatever yeah, that was it.
Yeah,
same.
Yeah. Nope, totally can relate, bro. You're doing good. You're doing killer when you think about how much you put on. So you're kicking ass, bro.
Yeah. Test your body fat though too, because that'll give you more of an accurate gauge.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just ordered a body fat caliper, but I wish I did at the beginning. But I had one super quick little follow up.
Sure.
It's mostly for Justin. I'm looking at doing performance next, but I'm worried about not having because I know you said something about mace bells and some like other different types of training, but that my gym doesn't have like anything real like fancy. I don't know what equipment I would need to make sure I can
mace
do it
bells
all.
they're not included in MAPS Performance. That's something like in terms of like incorporating stuff like that in Indian clubs, for the mobility sessions. I think that's cool and it's a great idea. But really all you need is squat rack, barbells, dumbbells. The only thing that's a little bit different, you need a landmine kind of setup. And if you don't, you can kind of, makeshift one, like put it barbell in the corner and kind of go in that direction. But, it's recommended that you get like a landmine for that.
That's the only thing, right?
Yeah, it's the only thing really.
Yeah, performance was designed for the typical gym.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Perfect.
Yeah, you should be good.
Yep.
All right, man. Thanks for calling in,
All right.
brother.
Keep us posted,
Yeah, thank
Jordan.
you guys.
You got
Thank you guys so much.
All right, man.
No
All
problem.
right, brother.
You know what I should have said is what's really beneficial for the mind games that happen with a cut with somebody who doesn't like to feel smaller? Carb cycling. Carb cycling helps a lot because it'll give you days of more glycogen, more water in your muscles, and then you'll look in the mirror and you'll feel pumped up. And you'll be like, okay, I think I'm moving in the right direction.
Do you remember what I told you what I used to do with this? So I used to, I admittedly on the show, I would talk about how I'm so inconsistent with supplements. I really am. I'm just not good at like consistently taking supplements. Plus I know like how small of a difference it makes to take the supplements. I tend to focus on the food, diet, all the things that are in the training. That's way more important, right? So the most consistent I ever was with creatine was during this time. So I used creatine and water loading in a cut for the psychological reason.
Yeah.
So because I think because I don't consistently use it, using it during the cut,
it'll offset some of those water.
And then I also started to make it a goal to pound like a half a gallon before I went into my workout, and so it would give me this fuller look. And that really helped me get through this kind of phase that he's at right now, because it's crazy how it's.
This is just like when you take somebody who's always been overweight and you have them do a bulk and they fill out a little bit and then they feel like, oh my God, I'm going the wrong direction.
Yeah, I'm getting fat.
Yeah,
it's
no definitely a deterrent for me. Oh, to address too that last question, I forgot to mention also kettlebells are recommended highly. You can get away with dumbbells, but definitely a good one.